Recently, the Senate unveiled their plan for so-called tax reform, which of course is just tax cuts, mostly for the wealthy. And in their proposal, they included a repeal for the Affordable Care Act. Now, the repeal would specifically target the mandate that helps to, keep the premiums low. It mandates that everyone, regardless of your health, would have to buy insurance. Otherwise, you would face a tax penalty when you do file for taxes. Well, Senator Lisa Murkowski has written an op-ed in response to this Senate proposal. As you know, Murkowski was opposed to efforts to repeal the Affordable Care Act. So understandably, people were wondering whether or not Murkowski was in favor of this new proposal by the Senate. And it seems as though she is in favor. She wrote the following: "I have always supported the freedom to choose. I believe that the federal government should not force anyone to buy something they do not wish to buy in order to avoid being taxed." Now, this is problematic, especially when you consider the fact that the Senate doesn't need much in terms of votes in order to pass their proposals. But here is a little bit of good news. Senator Ron Johnson, a Republican from Wisconsin, opposes the bill, saying that it disadvantages small businesses. And Senator Susan Collins from Maine has said that the bill needs to be changed. So there is disagreement on the Republican side in regard to this proposal. But it's interesting that Lisa Murkowski says she's in favor of repealing the mandate, because even though the mandate is unpopular, it is the one component of the Affordable Care Act that it keeps the premiums lower. You get rid of that, healthy people won't buy into the insurance. They won't be subsidizing the older and sicker individuals, and their premiums will go up.
Now, I know that Paul Ryan doesn't understand insurance, and the Republicans don't, or they pretend not to. I think actually Paul Ryan's stupid enough that he doesn't actually understand it. And he'll say, well, the healthy and the young shouldn't subsidize the poor. But you don't know when you're gonna get sick. That's the whole point of insurance. And you could be 24 years old and you think, well, I don't need insurance and I don't wanna buy into it. And it's true that 64-year-olds on average get more sick than 24-year-olds. Except, oops, you don't have insurance and then you got sick. What are we gonna do, let you die? And the Republicans say, yeah, bootstraps. Ha, tricked you, made you get off of insurance, told you didn't need a mandate. Now you're got cancer and you don't have insurance. I guess your answer, hey, you got emergency room, so you'll have some peace and comfort in an emergency room, waiting room, right before you die. Because you're not allowed to get treatment because you don't have insurance. The way that insurance works is that we all subsidize each other in case we get sick. And so now, on a national level, not the local level, but at the national level, never trust a Republican. So Lisa Murkowski, oh yeah, no, I've got issues with this thing, but I'm gonna work behind the scenes to see how much, the different, goodies that they're gonna give me so that later I could turn around and go against this and say things like, oh, the government should never demand that anyone buy insurance. How outrageous. Really? The government demands that we buy car insurance. You literally cannot drive a car if you don't have car insurance. You will be arrested. Yes. You'll be arrested if you're driving without car insurance. Why? Because the people who don't get into accidents subsidize the people who do get into accidents. And if you wait till after an accident to get insurance, well then it doesn't work that way. That's why we have to buy the car insurance ahead of time. What if somebody who has no money that plows into your family and oops, there's no insurance, sad day for you, your loved ones are hurt and nobody's gonna pay for them. That's why car insurance is mandated. But finally, look, Obamacare is too complicated. Oh, the mandate this and then that requires this and the state regulation and that. Medicare for all. Medicare has a 77% approval rating. You know why? Because it works.
Right.
So let us all into Medicare. Problem solved. And then if you want to buy private insurance on top of that, have at it, Hoss. But at least we're all covered and we don't all have to panic that at any point a loved one can die because they didn't have insurance.
Right, exactly. And people would still have access to insurance, which is the argument that you hear on the right over and over again. But access for them just means it's available to buy if you can afford it. But again, if the younger, healthier individuals aren't helping to subsidize insurance for older, sicker adults, well, the likelihood is that their premiums will be so expensive and unaffordable that they won't even be able to purchase it. So access, it means two completely different things based on who you're having a conversation with. Talking to sincere people, then access means affordable health coverage that people can afford, right? And in this case, to Republicans, access is, it's there, it's really expensive, but it's there, you can access it.
Yeah, no, it's such a stupid rhetorical trick. Hey, guess what, guys, congratulations, you all have access to Ferraris and Bentleys. You have access to them, you can go buy them if you have the money. You don't have the money, sad day for you. Hey, don't worry though, Republicans made access to Ferraris acceptable for and available to everyone. It's preposterous. We're the only developed country that lets people die in the streets, that doesn't have universal healthcare coverage. When they say it's not practical, they mean it's not practical for insurance companies, drug makers, and the privatized corporations that have taken over our government. It is practical for every other developed country. Yes, of course everybody should have insurance. And if you want more on top of that, great. And I'll say one last thing. They say, oh man, in those countries you have to wait on long lines. First of all, that's nonsense. It's been debunked 1,000 times over. But guess who else has to wait on lines? We have private insurance. Does that mean it's super convenient and easy? No, it takes me 2 months to get an appointment for a checkup. Oh, wow, I have private insurance, I should be super fast. That's not how it works. All the Republicans want to do is take decision making away from the public interest and give it to private interests. So they say, it's okay, the government didn't make you wait online. Private corporations made you wait online. Private corporations made you pay a ton of money. Private corporations did all of it. So you know what? Those same problems that you have, it's okay, because we're now calling it freedom. If you like this video, you probably like independent media. The best way to support independent media, become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.